So we've talked a little bit about the Canadian Constitution, and we've talked about how the Charter of Rights and Freedoms came into effect in 1982, and some parts of it only in 1985. But that really it took a new step in terms of the Canadian Constitution, and it made some big changes in terms of how the courts got involved in dealing with rights that people had under the Charter. It's not that they didn't have rights before 1982, but really now the courts are getting heavily involved in deciding what governments can and can't do according to the norms that the government set out for itself in the actual Constitution. We talked about the Oakes test as this limit that goes on to any sort of rights that exist under the Constitution, and now we're going to delve into one specific section. The reason why we're looking at this section is because it can be a fun one to talk about in terms of hypothetical cases or real cases, and that's part of what you guys will be doing for your major assignment in this term. So Section 8 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms essentially protects your right to be searched unreasonably. It says everyone has the right to be secure against unreasonable search or seizure. It doesn't mean that you're secure against any search or seizure, just against unreasonable search or seizure. So that just means that, yeah, maybe you can be searched, but you have the right to expect that the stuff you would keep private will stay private unless the police can give a good reason to open it up. That's what the unreasonableness means, right? It's not the police can never search you, it's that they can if they can do it in a reasonable way. But the important point here is that the police have to be able to give a good reason or articulate a good reason that isn't based on what it is that they found. They have to have a good reason before they've opened it. And we'll see that a lot of the cases that we'll look at hinge on that idea. Now, Section 8, as much as the rest of the Charter, is often invoked by people who are bad people. There are people in criminal cases where they've been accused, and usually something really juicy has been found as a result of a search, and they're asking that it not be allowed in because the search itself was unreasonable. So we found something that actually lets us know that they're actually guilty of whatever it is they're accused of, and they're trying to get off without that evidence being included. Now, this gives Section 8 a bad reputation because it's always being used by these nasty people. However, this is really the only way that this right can protect you and me, regular, everyday, non-criminal people. People talk about it only when the police have found something nasty, because if you get searched unreasonably on the street and the police don't find something, then nobody cares. There's no criminal case to worry about. Really, the only way that good people, that regular people, can have their privacy protected is that in those cases where the police succeeded in finding something through breaching privacy, that we stop them there. So it's a case where only good people, the only way that good people can be protected is through the cases of bad people. And really, its goal is actually to protect everybody, especially non-accused people, from being searched unreasonably. It's not just from having your stuff used against you, it's to stop the actual searching from happening so that people don't rifle through your stuff, which is generally unpleasant for people. We don't like it when people go through our stuff, even if there isn't anything particularly incriminating there. It's just our privacy is thrown open. And because of this, the way that the law is set up, it's presumed in every case that as much as possible, the police, if they have any opportunity at all to do so, are supposed to get a judge's permission. That's essentially what a warrant is. Have you heard of warrants? It's just a judge's permission to conduct a search. And that way, if they have to ask the judge for permission for the search, the judge can stop bad searches from happening.